everybody. Welcome to Live at 5 on Tuesday, July the 12th, with a very special guest today, the Effects Carter Hudson. So we're speaking to him shortly. Hello, Mr. McPhee.
Hi, everyone.
It's July. How much news have you made up today? Things happening.
It's a slow news week.
Yes.
On Broadway. But we did have a Broadway history made last night.
We did.
So Bianca Marroquin came back into Chicago playing Roxy Hart on Broadway. So now that she's doing this with Jaime Camille.
He's a good friend of hers.
Yes.
Yes.
So this is the first time that there are two Mexican performers leading a Broadway show. So it was a big moment last night.
Yeah.
They did their curtain call. They raised the Mexican flag for them. So check out the site for photos of that. It was a pretty cool opportunity.
Very cool. Now, the one bit of news happened today while I was at lunch. So what happened? Because you had to write it.
Yes. So Second Stage Theater Company is doing Chisa Hutchinson's Somebody's Daughter. It's going to be like an off-Broadway premiere next summer.
And that's their Uptown venue, right?
Yeah, so this is their Uptown venue. It's a little smaller than their traditional off-Broadway space. And this is definitely one to look out for, too, because this play was on this year's Kilroy's list, and that celebrates works by female and trans playwrights. So it's definitely one that people have had their eye on.
I love what Second Stage have been doing. It's one to watch. Their off-Broadway shows often transfer. They're always trying to push boundaries. No, definitely. All right. It wouldn't be a day without some Hamilton.
We gotta talk about Hamilton.
It was Hamilton.
Right,
Hamilton.
Yeah. That's what I gotta say now.
Today. Yeah.
So Javier Munoz talked to Hoda on the Today Show, talking about how he's performed a handful of times as the alternate, getting to perform for Obama, for Beyonce, which one freaked him out more. So I'm really excited to see that show again, like literally anyone else.
We just sort of have to get tickets. I mean, we work at Broadway.com and tickets are a bit of a challenge sometimes. Okay, now we can tie in, so I'm going to be around in the office over the next 3 days, but no one else is. I'm going to be around because Kat's first preview is happening and everyone else is going off on a work retreat. So as a result, Live at 5 may happen tomorrow, but it won't happen like this. But also, I was segueing into the Cats vlog.
Yeah, we have a new Cats vlog from Kyla Haynes. So this was a great week. It's our big tech week.
And they were teching.
You can see at one point they kind of start to lose it mentally. But it's a good week because they also are getting into costumes for the first time.
There are glimpses of Leona Lewis in costume.
See what Leona looks like as
Exclusive to
Isabella.
Broadway.com. No one else has that right now. So we'll see. Anyway, that's first preview is Thursday. Am I excited? Oh, I'm excited. Is the culture list up yet?
I don't think so.
We went to Wet Culture List.
That's one that you
don't know how I was. I'm going to have so much fun with that Culture List. Okay, odds and ends today, which I did write. Zendaya is in talks to join The Greatest Showman with Hugh Jackman and maybe Michelle Williams and Zac Efron. This actually looks like it might be happening now. I mean, it's been going on for years, this musical. It's the P.T. Barnum musical.
And they've been rolling out names for a while now, so it sounds like these people actually...
Sounds like it's actually going to happen. A lot of switcheroos at the Williamstown Theatre Festival with An American Daughter. But anyway, Diane Davis and Jason Danelli will be stepping in. And Jessie Tyler Ferguson was on Live with Kelly today, talking about how to deal with drunk people during Fully Committed. Right. I think it's July. It's July. There's nothing happened. This is in April. So bye Ryan.
Okay. Bye everyone. Bye Imogen.
Hello to Carter Hudson of The Effect. Hi. Thank you for doing this today in July.
Thank you for having me today in July.
Not much happens in July.
Yeah.
Now you're in this big off-Broadway hit, aren't you? Because it got extended like a huge amount. It was supposed to sort of end in June, wasn't it? And it's now going through to September the 4th.
Yeah, we found that out a while back. It was very exciting, I think, anytime you start something, you're like, I hope we can play through our run, for God's sake, So then you find out that people like it and it's going to keep going, and it's a pretty great thing.
Now, for those who know nothing about The Effect, fill us in. Talk about the world of The Effect. Where's it set?
Oh, so it takes place at a pharmaceutical trial. For a major pharmaceutical company, and they are testing an antidepressant that is made to affect levels of dopamine. And then on the trial, two of the trialists, the volunteers, begin this sort of illicit love affair. And the question is it a result of the drug, or are they really in love?
So you've got chemistry on stage, you don't know whether it's real or fake.
Right. And what's the difference, really, if it's all just brain chemistry?
This sounds like it's very ripe for Off Broadway in 2016. It sounds like audiences can really connect with this show.
I think so. I think everybody. The show also deals a lot with depression and chemical imbalances of the brain and the pharmaceutical industry. And I feel like I don't know a single person who doesn't have some immediate experience in their family or with their friends that has to do with mental illness. And yeah, so yeah.
Were you familiar with Lucy Prebble's work before? Because she's a British playwright. Isn't she?
Yeah, I had only read one of her earlier plays, and I hadn't seen this one or read this one. It was in. It started in 2012 at the National, and it had a run there. It was really successful, and then they decided to bring it over here.
Did she come over and work with you guys?
Yeah,
was she tweaking it at all for the American audience, or is it really as was in the UK?
Yeah, we spent. I mean, the first week of rehearsal was really sort of almost a workshop period where she completely retooled everything. The older version was very specifically taking place in England, and they didn't want to distance the audience in that way to make it feel like something that is happening here. So we worked with her, and she's a Brit, so she was often.
Would it be nice? Don't talk about Brexit with us. We're bored of it.
And so she would sort of turn to us and be like, how would an American say that?
Yeah.
And so we were able to sort of have a hand in the Americanizing of the thing.
Well, that must be great for you, because you actually then can really you put your stamp on a character in a wonderful way.
Sure. It's also how Lucy likes to work. Lucy sort of said on day one that she would rather write for the actor than for some idea that she's cooked up in her head. So she was super flexible, and the script changed a ton, both to Americanize it and to fit myself and Susanna Flood and Katie Brosda and Steve Key, the other actors in the show.
Now this is obviously, it's a marathon, not a sprint now. I mean, you're doing 8 shows a week, right?
Yeah.
How do you keep yourself sort of healthy and in the zone, as it were? Any tips for budding actors out there?
Sure.
Juice? Or do you just drink? I mean, it could
Mostly
go either way,
alcohol.
just alcohol. I mean, unwind after a performance.
Yeah, it's almost entirely. I'm on an all-alcohol diet at this point. I am completely drunk right now.
So that's where your dressing room should really... So your dressing room is a place where it's happening then?
Right, yeah, if anybody wants a drink, just come to the Barrow Street Green Room. You can hang out with us.
In all seriousness, do you have any dressing room rituals? I know, I've talked to some people have crystals. It's my friend Sierra. Everyone knows Sierra. She's got sage burning, she's got crystals going on. Ben Wishaw at the Crucible has a crystal that he likes to hold. Jennifer Hudson had a rock. I mean, do you have anything, or is it just you turn up and do the show?
I need to get a crystal now.
I think you do need to get a crystal.
I feel crystal deficient.
Yeah. But do you have any routines or exercises you do, or do you just?
I do a lot of stretching. The show is really physical, and a lot, and so I stretch a lot because it is easy to hurt yourself. So a lot of that.
Okay.
We listen to a lot of music.
What sort of music?
Oh man.
I was getting Zachary Levi on that. I think I got Zachary to admit that he liked Taylor Swift.
I love Taylor Swift. That's not what I listen to on this, but.
But we love Taylor. Okay.
I've been listening to the new Lumineers album a lot.
Okay. All right, being asked about any onstage mishaps. So if you had any onstage mishaps to get through in the effect or anywhere else that you can reveal?
Okay, like I said, it's a clinical trial. So there's a section of the play that involves we have our blood drawn. And it's pretty uncomfortable for everyone. A while back, we were still in previews, and we were doing that. And the scene used to be much longer than it currently is. And we were there, and it's a very quiet moment. No one's really talking, and somebody starts screaming, "We need a doctor! We need a doctor!" And the house lights came up, and David Cromer, the director, was there because we were still in previews. Yeah. And he jumped up and he's like, "Is there a doctor in the house?" And like 15 people stood up because it's New York City, on like a Wednesday night, so they're all doctors. And as the lights came up, I looked back towards the back of the house, and there was a guy like convulsing, passing out, and his mother was screaming for a doctor next to him, and the stage manager came over to the mic and was like, "Okay, actors, please leave the stage." And so we went off, they took him off, he was okay, They put him in a cab. He was fine. He said he always passes out when he sees blood get drawn.
Oh God!
He got home fine, and then they were like, okay, so we're ready to restart the show. And so you have to sort of walk back out and be like, so now that we've seen something very real, we're gonna start faking things for you again.
At least everybody was okay, but yes,
Yeah.
scary. Hard to forget that one. Now you're from Louisiana, is that right?
Yeah.
How did you get into acting? When did you decide acting was for you? Was it a high school teacher?
It was in high school. Yeah. Towards the end of high school, I always my dad was in film, and I always thought I was gonna be in film, and then there was sort of no film classes in my high school, so I started doing theater stuff, and then we. In Texas, I went to high school in Texas, and they have these things, these competitive events that are part of like speech and debate tournaments that a lot of actors got started doing, and they told us, I wasn't acting, but a friend was like, you can just do these things, nobody checks if you're any good at it, and then you get to like miss school on like a Friday and a Monday, and
Perfect.
there's basically no chaperones involved. So and they were like, and there's girls there, and they'll think you're cool because they don't know any better, and so I started doing it, and was like, oh, this is better than playing on the baseball team or whatever.
So that's how you got started. Have you got any advice for any budding actors out there? Because a lot of kids are watching. Don't do it, or get educated, practice. I mean, is there anything out there? One piece of advice you'd love to give maybe your younger self?
Yeah. I would just say that it's a much longer timeline than you always want it to be, and I think I had I studied with the actor Reed Birney for a while Tony winner Reed Birney, yeah. For a while after I got out of college, and he had this. He would always just say, it's a really, really tough business, and you just can't let them win. Sort of the bigger them, and you have to protect a sense of who you truthfully are at your core, and that's going to be the only thing that will buoy you through the struggles of it, and because you can do it, and you just can't let them all get you down, because they will try.
We'll try to get you down. Final question, because I always like to bring it back to the show, to the effect. What do you hope audiences take away with them from the play?
Lucy would always say that she sees the play as the story of love over the course of an entire lifetime, condensed down into a very small window of time. So you see all the stages of what love means. You see the beginning stage when it's really fun and sexy, and the middle stage where it's like super hot and heavy, and then the middle stage where you start fighting, and then the ends where you start doing damage to each other, and then maybe the end, the time when you start just taking care of each other. And I think that's really profound, that love means romantic love means something different over the course of a long period of time, but it's always profound and important and wonderful and difficult and worth the pain of it.
Well, Carter Hudson, thank you very much for coming in. Everybody get down to the effect through September the 4th. And yet, once again, we might not be doing live at 5 the rest of the week. If it is, it's going to be slightly alternative, but we'll be back in the studio next Monday. Take care. Have a good evening.